Ed Waggoner here with Empire Property Management and Ace Landlords. So it's been an eventful month. So last month we were talking about why landlords should raise the rent, and in a complete turn of events, the coronavirus has turned from a minor headline to all the headlines. Everything is revolving around the coronavirus now. So the biggest problem, of course, and it's usually the biggest problem with most everything, is we got a bunch of politicians who are flapping their wings, trying to draw attention to them, saying, vote for me, vote for me. So just kind of going through some of the headlines that affect landlords in Oregon. Most of this is in Multnomah County, which we don't manage in Multnomah County, fortunately. But so here we go. So statewide postponement of non-essential cases in the courts. The Supreme Court has made a statement. They're postponing all non-essential cases, including evictions. Originally they gave a date of April 1st when they would start up. However, at this point they've postponed it indefinitely. So soon as things die down, I'm imagining they'll add all that stuff back in. However, there's going to be a backlog. So we don't do evictions really. We've had a property that we brought on this year needed to be cleaned up a bit, and we did one eviction this year. For the most part, we don't spend a lot of time in the courthouse. That's good for you if you're a client of Empire Property Management. But it is going to create some trouble for a lot of landlords. So, keep that in mind. Schools are closed. So, a lot of parents relied on the school system for a form of daycare. Now they're paying for daycare, so that's going to cut into their budget. If they can even do daycare, because there's been a moratorium on any group larger than 10 in Oregon now. Governor Kate Brown has banned seated dining statewide. So a lot of our tenants, work in the hospitality industry, and that's going to pinch their bottom line. And unfortunately, a lot of folks are living hand to mouth, have little to no savings. And so I think this month is going to be fine, that coming April. However, going forward, just because usually the pay periods are off by about 2 weeks, so they might still have enough to pay April. Coming up from May, that's when we may be looking at some trouble. So we're looking ahead at that. Takeout and delivery options are excluded, so some restaurants will still be open. Grocery stores and retail outlets are excluded, so you can still get your groceries. Multnomah County has passed an ordinance. Basically, no, they haven't passed an ordinance. All this is by executive order, because all these cities and counties have declared, and states have declared state of emergency that gives them broad power to basically do whatever they want. And so Multnomah County tenants have 6 months to pay back rent from the end of the coronavirus. We don't really know when that is yet. So Lane County and Eugene, and Springfield have declared a state of emergency. So essentially, at this point, like I said, it's a bunch of politicians and the media flapping their wings like, a bird of paradise, trying to draw attention to themselves. I'm saving the world, I'm saving the world, vote for me, vote for me. And that's pretty normal. However, people's reaction to this has been pretty drastic. And so, a couple of things that Empire's doing, and I would recommend this to basically all landlords. A lot of people are listening to this video through Ace Landlords, and I would mirror much of this, not so much because we fear the coronavirus. I personally don't really fear it that much. I ran the numbers. Even in Italy, you have a 1 in 24,000 chance of dying. However, every time you get in the car, you have a 1 in 102 chance of dying. So Still, the coronavirus is really, really low as far as your risks of leaving this world from it, but people are still afraid of it. So there are customers, tenants are paying the rent, so we need to be respective of that. And if they have fears, then we need to adjust to that. So as of when this whole started, Empire shifted to virtual showings and or video showings. We're suspending tours. So we used to show all of our units every single time, every unit, and we're suspending that just because almost immediately we were starting to get no shows. So tenants would we'd set up a showing and people would not show up. So they're afraid of contracting the sickness, and so we have gone to self shows. Application process. This was really already digital, almost 100%. Phone, email, our online software. New leases. So we used to sign all of our leases in person, and we would go over each item with the tenants so that we could clean up any kind of gray area and questions with them. However, at this point, we're going to do them over the phone and with a digital sign. So we can talk with the tenants over the phone. If you're managing your own property, highly recommend you go this route. Inspections, we're postponing all inspections. We'll continue to do our drive-bys on the outside of the property. However, interior inspections are just not going to work. People don't want you inside. So we've been doing the entire sign-up process with new owners coming on by email, phone, and a digital sign. So we can still conduct business. We can still put on new properties. However, there's not a lot of people moving around right now. So if you have a vacancy, you could be looking at that vacancy to the end of this. We're doing our best to get them rented. However, people are really staying put. So they're unraveling, any 30-day notices they have in place as much as they can, which we are happy to accommodate just because we don't want another vacancy right now. So we have contingency plans in place in case we get the order from the government saying that everybody has to, they call it shelter in place. It's basically they're quarantining everybody, saying that they have to stay home. So we have a contingency plan for that, so that basically we close down the office and everything goes online completely. So property managers, leasing, reception, everything. Rents. So tenants are probably going to come up short, and rents are what makes this business go round. So we're not putting any policies in place because we're the middleman. Empire Property Management and our managers manage for our owners. So it's on a per property, per tenant, per unit basis, every one of them. So we will really need to verify that indeed they are out of work and they don't have the money, and consult with the owners to see what can be done about this. At this point, I wouldn't panic just because there's a lot of speculation as to where this is going. The stock market is just absolutely crashing, bond market crashing. Federal Reserve is coming in with the worst kind of cure, which is more money in debt into the system. And basically, America has a debt problem more than anything else. And so, if you have any questions specifically about your unit, make sure you check in with your property manager. We've been going over every property, making sure that it's a good fit still with the tenants and everything else, and whatever situation is there, we can help get us through this. So anyway, if you have any questions, please let us know. Otherwise, hope to see you next month. Happy landlording.